Hey, you guys, welcome back to Level Up with Lori. You're never going to believe what, or maybe you will because you know me really well. You'll never believe what I did this morning. I literally just recorded this entire podcast episode while I was getting ready. I was like, wow, that was like one of my best yet. And then I realized I did not press record. I did not press record. Oh my gosh. And I don't know whether I can duplicate it, but I always trust that like everything happens for a reason. Everything happens the way that it's meant to. And so something will come out of this episode. Even the fact that I'm actually going to do the video, which means that we can upload it onto YouTube, or we have a video if we want to put it onto Facebook or social media. Maybe that's the win in there. But I hope you're having an awesome week. The podcast episode that I just recorded that I'm now going to share with you again is all about like celebrating the small wins along the way to getting those big wins. Because I had a client reach out to me this morning and she was like, Lori, I know it's just a little thing, but this is what happened. And like, I'm pretty excited about it. I was like, first off, like, halt, that's amazing. It's not just a little thing. Like, let's celebrate it because what I need you to know ultimately is that the little things all lead to the big things. I think a lot of the time we kind of look out there at the world and everybody's out there celebrating the big things. Everybody's like shouting them from the rooftop, but what they're not telling you is all of the million little things that led up to that big thing. Right? They're not sharing that they celebrate that all these little things stacked on top of one another were what actually drove in that big thing. They were the things that made that big thing happen. And I think we all want to hit like, and I remember I gave a little baseball analogy in the first one. And like I said, like, we all want to hit the home runs, right? We're all here for the home runs, the glory moments, the big wins, the big splash. But truthfully, if I was a coach or a manager, I would be really wanting a lot of like like single runs, hitters too. I want the people that get on first every single time because the home runs are also fraught with a lot of like pop outs, right? Like a lot of things that are caught in the outfield and never actually drive in any runs for the team. So ultimately it's a combination of both, right? And like the little things get just as many runs in a ball game often as the home runs. So what I want you to know is that if like a lot of times I hear when I'm coaching my clients, I hear like, well, like I only got one sale from this, or only one person commented on this post, or only one client signed up, like whatever it is. But that sends that message to the universe that we're only here for the big things, that we don't actually care about the little things, that like this. And imagine looking that person, that client or that customer in the face and being like, well, like I don't really care about your order or you as a client because it wasn't exactly what I was going for. I didn't get the home run that I projected. So this doesn't really matter. Every single order, every single sale, every single client, every single thing that you do in your business, it all counts. And that's what I want to drive home here. Because when we celebrate the little things, they are all leading to the big things. And if you knew that one order or one client or one person dropping into your world would one day become 1,000, you would keep going. But because that it wasn't that 1,000 right away, you decided that it was a failure and you gave up. The only way to fail in this business is to give up. And that, my friends, is the biggest truth that I can ever share with you. And it's what I see happen time and time again. And this kind of goes back to that expectation conversation. And I think I have this all the time is like, we allow our expectations to be our truth. If this doesn't happen, then this means this. And like, none of it's actually true. It's all fictitious. But if you knew that one conversation was going to lead to like XYZ happening, would you have that conversation? Would you celebrate that win along the way? Absolutely, you would. Well, what if every single thing that you're doing in your business, every single creative idea, every single reach out, every single new program that you drop, like what if all of that is what are going to culminate into your success? Maybe it's not going to be one thing, but 100 little things that actually determine your success in the business that you're building. And I'm here to tell you that that's true because I know for me, a lot of the times I'm like, oh, well, that didn't go exactly how I wanted. And I get a little bit down on myself. But what I realize is everything has its own place, right? This client, when I look back, like, and I kind of like track people's trajectories through things, the catalyst always started with one thing. That's what's interesting, right? It always just starts with one thing. It's the tipping point, but you never know what that tipping point is going to be until unless you keep going, unless you keep following those breadcrumbs. And big rewards, and this is the other piece, because I was like, I said in the last time I taped it, I was like, oh, you kind of got 2 podcast episodes in this. But the thing that I was talking about was that big rewards don't often come without big risk, right? The biggest things that have happened in my business are because I've taken risks, because I've like gone out on a ledge. I trusted my intuition. I've made an investment in myself, or I've put something out there that like I was freaking terrified of. And the universe and the world has rewarded me by like getting me further faster. Like the first time that I ever signed up with a coach, I wasn't making any money in my business. And I mean none. In fact, not only was I making none, but I was actually in the negatives because I was paying to produce my podcast. I was paying for the platform that my website is housed on, my email list, my courses, all the things, but I wasn't actually selling anything. I wasn't like, I was building a business in terms of I was building an audience, but I wasn't selling them anything. So I had this moment where I was like, Lori, it's do or die at this point. Like you cannot continue to just dream about building a business. You actually need to get out there and build a business. And so how do you do that when I took a lot of courses, I've done a lot of studying, and I had a lot of ideas inside of me, but I needed that like tipping point that would actually get me to put myself into action. And so I made this massive investment in myself, something that was way outside my comfort zone. And I hired a coach. And what I've learned from my experience is that those like high touch points with coaches, whether it's a mastermind or it's one-on-one coaching, those are your quick buttons, right? Those are the things that like make the shit happen really a lot quicker than like taking a course, being in the background of something, of course, because they feel like a bigger risk inside of us. They're a bigger financial investment. And one of the things that I always recommend to my clients, like I have a lot of clients that start out in network marketing and they want to build something their own. Well, for me, I built my own business on the back of my network marketing company, meaning I used the income that I had built in my network marketing business to pay for life, to keep us safe and housed and all the things. And it gave me the freedom to be over here building something that I was like dreaming about, lusting after. And maybe that means like that you stay in your full-time job as you're building your network marketing business or you're building your coaching business. And honestly, like multiple streams of income is one of the smartest things that you can build into your life. I don't care who you are. I don't care what those multiple streams of income are, but they say that the average millionaire has 7 streams of income. But multiple streams of income is what keeps us safe, what builds true generational wealth inside of our lives. Like it's just smart. And even as you will change and shape, there's ways to keep those multiple streams of business floating. A lot of my clients that started in network marketing or even I have multiple streams of income inside of my network marketing kind of bubble. And I'm still over here building a coaching business, and a coaching business that I also believe has multiple streams of income in it, meaning I have memberships that are passive income that like come in every single month. I have one-on-one clients that are like big ticket items, or masterminds that are like shorter periods. Like we want that variety for building these empires, because it makes the income sustainable and makes that growth trajectory like. Anyways, I'm not quite sure where I was going with that. I think I actually said that in the last one that I recorded too. I was like, you got a lot of thoughts out of me. But here's the thing. All the little things that you're doing, all the little things that you think aren't necessarily working, that you don't necessarily know that they're moving the needle forward, they are. They are. And if you don't, you got to keep going to know where they lead to. You have to keep putting one step in front of the other to see, like, to actually get to your destination. And I mean, in brackets, once you get to your destination, you're just going to want to go further and faster, right? It's like getting to the middle of the mountain and being like, I want to be at the top. And then you get to the top and you realize this wasn't even the top. There's an even higher point that I want to get to. But in order to go on this journey, to move your way up this mountain, you still need to continue to take these little steps. And it's all these little wins that happen along the way that lead to the beautiful view that you're going to get as you move your way up that mountain. They're going to like become these really big wins and these big success stories that you are destined for. If you're sitting here with me right now, if you're listening and you have big dreams for yourself, what I want you to know is they are your destiny. If you continue along the path, if you keep doing what you're doing, trusting your intuition, trusting yourself, like digging deep, taking big risks, making investments in yourself, you keep doing that, you will work your way up the mountain. But the problem is the majority of us will give up before we see the beautiful view. We will tell ourselves stories that it's not working. We'll tell ourselves stories that that one small win isn't enough to keep us going. Be powered by, be fueled by, be motivated by these small wins. I had a message this morning. I've been kind of thinking about my podcast, what I want to do with my podcast, all the things. And it's interesting how the universe works. It always supports us. It always sends us the messages. But I had a message this morning just from a girl saying, I just wanted to tell you how incredible your podcast is. I shared it with my leader. She's excited about it. We've shared it with our team that, they're all learning and working together and talking about it. And it's created this really great vibe. And I'm just like, right? That's my dream for this podcast, is that it not only becomes a resource for you, but it becomes a resource that you can share with your circle as well. And that this voice and these messages that I have coming through me, they get to have this ripple effect of impact. They get to make it out to whoever needs to hear them. And sometimes I'm like, but is it worth it? Is it really even making an impact? Is it even getting to enough ears? Because maybe the numbers don't necessarily say that when I look at them behind the scenes. And then I get a message like that and I'm like, yep, it was worth it. Because at the end of the day, even if she wasn't sharing it with her team, even if she told me she learned something from me, she got something from me, that's what I set out to do when I started this podcast, right? That was the goal that I had with this podcast. So that therein means that it's working. So you get to decide what is proof of your dreams working or not working. So why don't we start looking for the proof that it is? Why don't we start being open to the fact that that one sale is an inevitability of 1,000 more headed your way, and that you get to learn from every single one. You get to celebrate every single one behind the scenes, and you get to know that your destiny is headed towards you. The big things are meant for you, and they will happen, but you got to keep going. And I wanted to end this podcast by telling you a few things that are going on in my world right now, because there's some things are happening. Anyways, as I record this, I am prepping for Black Friday behind the scenes, but as you're listening to this, I think it will already have dropped. So if you have not heard about my Black Friday plans, I want you to send me a message on social media, Ms. Lori Irvin, and I want you to ask me about the movement, because the movement is this brand new offer that I have dropping. It's going to be awesome. It's the culmination of this massive year of creation that I've had, and then the power of what's to come in 2022. And there's a 24-hour deal and 2 different 48-hour deals. They're so juicy and so exciting. But I'm not dropping them here in this episode. You are going to have to come find me over on social media to find out, or get onto my email list because they're hearing about it first. And then for the network marketers in the house, the doors of the runway are going to be opening for 72 hours only at 2021 pricing, with a couple really incredible bonuses attached to it. My Words to Say PDF, which everybody in my Level Up community was desiring, and then the runway girls were like, yes, please. And then also our brand new content hub that is a runway resource where every month, and even multiple times a month, I drop content into there that you can plug and play in your business. So not only are you going to be learning strategy inside the community, not only we have a self-paced, full, I can't even tell you how many resources are in our hub, but you're also going to have a content hub where you are going to have things that you can legitimately use in your business done for you. And then last but not least, I made this really big decision this morning. And as I tell you right now, I actually haven't released this to the world, but I will be later today. I am closing the doors to my leader mastermind. When I started it, my thought was that it was going to be a pop in and pop out, like come as you desire, stay for a month, stay for 12. But what I realized was that I want to make it a 6-month mastermind. The women that are already in there are really driving really well together. I know we have room for, well, I mean, as I'm saying this to you, we have room for 4 to 5 more. I'm going to guess that some of those spots have been scooped by now. So if this is something that you desire, knowing what I said, right? Like if you want to go far, fast, you want to press the easy button on something, you get in close proximity with people that are doing that. And that could be through a mastermind or one-on-one coaching. That is like, that's the heavy hitting. Those are the home runs, right? Those are the swinging for the home runs. So I'm going to be closing the doors on it at the end of November. When you pop in, you will get all of these bonus trainings, like these workshops that we've worked through together. You're going to get a number of different of my courses. It's going to be amazing. It will be amazing. And maybe the spots are even sold out right now. But if you are interested, pop into my social media, slide into my DM, send me a message. I'll tell you all the things. I'll let you know how many spots are left. And that will be going to, like, that's closing at the end of November, and it will be running for 5 months after that. You also have this opportunity to get one-on-one time with me through that opportunity. So you guys, that's it. Honestly, I just want you to leave you with one message. Dream big, believe in your dreams, believe in yourself beyond anything else, beyond what is possible. Know that you can build anything that you want to, but you need to start celebrating the small things along the way, because the small things lead to the big things. The small things lead to your destiny. Have an incredible, incredible week.